And listen, y'all weren't even there to see it. Tiffany thought she was about to pull off a mic drop moment. She looks around the room, asks with full confidence, "How many of y'all even knew about the budget meeting on Saturday?" She expected silence crickets, maybe a few confused faces. But nope. At first, just 3 hands go up, then more, then a wave. Suddenly the whole crowd claps back like, "Yeah, we knew." And in real time, you could see Tiffany's confidence drain out of her face. She had just set herself up for failure on camera. She's standing there wobbling through her words, fumbling mid-sentence. 1 second, she insists nobody knew. The next, she switches to, "Well, maybe just a few did." Girl, which is it? You're out here doing mental gymnastics and sticking the landing on nonsense? Your girl J9 here, by the way. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, share the video, and slide into the comments because I need to hear your thoughts on this one. This clip, straight from the vaults. Tiffany in her most chaotic form, because remember, this wasn't her first meltdown about what she called secret squirrel meetings. Spoiler alert, they weren't secret at all. These were regular trustee meetings she just wasn't showing up to. By law, the board has to meet twice a month. Since Tiffany kept skipping, the trustees said, "Fine, we'll move forward without you." That's when they started electing a mayor pro temujuli trustee, house to keep things running. Tiffany hated it, hated every second. Because what you will not do is steal her spotlight. She wasn't about to let anybody forget she was the youngest black female mayor in Dalton. She swore she put Dalton on the map. And to be fair, she wasn't wrong. Before Tiffany, most folks couldn't point to Dalton on a map. After her chaos, the name rings bells everywhere. Even wilder, the new pope came out of Dalton, not Illinois, not Chicago Dalton. The same Dalton buried in dysfunction. This clip, though, is peak Tiffany performance art. She's acting like the trustees pulled off some undercover operation, holding meetings without her. She's outraged, pacing, ranting like she cracked open Watergate. They didn't even tell. Me, none of us knew. Did y'all know? She shouts, and the crowd, they flip it instantly. Yes, we knew. The look on Tiffany's face when she realizes as Madrant she just exposed herself. Priceless now, let's be real. I hadn't caught this clip before because these meetings drag on for hours. Mama doesn't have time to sit through every one, but when I pulled this 4-minute gem, comedy gold, laugh out loud, rewind, 3 times gold. But let's not gloss over the bigger problem here, transparency. Saturday meeting at 9 a.m. Folks are either still asleep or juggling kids, errands, and groceries. That's not community engagement. That's intentional silence. And even when they pretended to be transparent, all they showed were bland line items. No breakdowns, no explanations of what was being cut. Just smoke, mirrors, and numbers on a page. Here's the kicker. Those wasn't just shady. It's straight up violated laws. On July 21st, for example, they called a meeting via Zoom while everyone else showed up in person. Why? Because Tiffany didn't want people overhearing what was really happening. She swore it wasn't shady, but come on. When the mayor hides behind a Zoom box while the rest of the city shows up in the room, the math ain't mathing. Took it further. On that Zoom call, she swore people were doodling her face, scribbling threats, making it personal. She really said that. Like, ma'am, words aren't evidence. You need receipts, not fantasies. This isn't kindergarten show and tell. Meanwhile, the crowd remembered the real story. Folks clapped instantly when someone brought up being locked out. Yep, exactly, because they remembered. Back when Tiffany literally locked down City Hall, doors chained, lights off, nobody in or out, trustees were forced to hold meetings on the lawn like a neighborhood barbecue or else on Zoom. Why? Because Tiffany had the keys. It's not exaggeration. It's documented. But Tiffany's trying to rewrite history. She goes, "I didn't lock them out. They just chose to hold it outside." Really? Why would elected officials prefer mosquitoes, wind, and lawn chairs over air conditioning and microphones? Think about that. Her logic collapses in real time. She's up there scrambling, defending the indefensible, somehow making her own case look worse by the second. And here's the wildest part while she's still arguing about transparency. The board had already moved on. Literally. You can hear it on the tape while she's babbling. A motion to appoint a new mayor pro tem had already been made. That's the Tiffany effect in a nutshell. She thinks she's controlling the room. But really, the room has already left her behind. Game over. Tiffany's shadowboxing in the corner while the real fight's happening in the ring. She's arguing with the air while power slips right through her hands. See, they weren't just debating the idea of replacing her they had already chosen. The replacement. That's what really lit her fuse. They named him Mayor Pro Tem right there on the spot. Tiffany snapped back. He's not the mayor. Well, he is now. Chose mayor keyword. Was. Pro Tem means for the time being. Baby. He was the one holding the gavel, not her. But then came Tiffany's trademark word salad. First, she swore she was present. Then, 2 breaths later, she claimed she was denied the privilege to attend. So which is it? Inside? Outside? A ghost pacing the corridors? Hovering in spirit like the Holy Ghost? Her entire argument boiled down to, I wasn't there, but I was alive when it happened. Girl, this isn't Ghost Adventures. Pick a lane. Then she blamed the email. Yes, the 9:15 a.m. notice for a noon budget meeting. She acted like that was her only chance to know. Meanwhile, the trustees were approving millions in budget cuts. And Tiffany thought she could pull the crowd to her corner with a show of hands. Who even knew about this budget meeting? Big mistake. Huge mistake. She expected silence. Maybe a few confused looks. Instead, hands shot up all over. Multiple people, loud confirmation. And you could see at the instant her face cracked. She panicked. She backtracked. Nobody knew. What? Just 3 of y'all? Ma'am, you asked the room? The room answered. It wasn't 3. It wasn't silence. It was yes, yes, yes. End of story. That was the answer you didn't want, but it was the one you got. And here's the kicker. The email wasn't even the real notice. It was just a courtesy reminder. The official notices had gone out earlier. Tiffany knew that. But instead of owning it, she spun the story like a bad DJ scratching the same broken record. She turned a courtesy into her only excuse, digging herself deeper with every word. Why lie about something that's so easy to check? Next came her. Fake flex on transparency. She complained the trustees didn't explain the cuts. Okay, fair point. But then she derailed, bragging she hadn't approved a liquor license in over 1.5 years. Like that was some noble achievement. Your town is starving for restaurants, bars, nightlife, and you were the roadblock. That's not leadership. Not leadership. That's sabotage. And right next to her was Kamal, looking like he'd just finished hotboxing the parking lot. I mean, come on. Tiffany's out here bragging about cutting off alcohol while her guy looks like he smells of the devil's lettuce. And she admitted she didn't deny licenses because people weren't qualified. She just didn't want to. That's why no businesses are thriving. No restaurants, no nightlife, no growth. She strangled it herself. She thought cutting off alcohol was a moral victory. Reality check, it just pushed residents out.
Maybe.
If people could grab a drink, they'd put up with her nonsense longer. But nope, she slammed that door shut. Now, she's shocked businesses won't even try. That's the irony. She called it principle, but it was suicide by policy. Then came the budget breakdown where the numbers told the story. Vehicle license revenue dropped from $95,000 to $70,000. Fire recovery revenue slashed from $75,000 to $20,000. Court fines cut from $25,000 to $15,000. Bond loan proceeds shrunk from $1.2 million to $1 million, because all those Tiffany taxes were being scrubbed out. The trustees weren't just crunching numbers, they were scrubbing her fingerprints off the budget and the comedy gold. Tiffany thought the audience was with her. She asked them straight, "Did y'all know about the budget meeting?" They answered yes. Clear, loud, undeniable. She tried to spin it into only 3 people. But nah, the room had already spoken. Tiffany, you don't get to remix answers after the question's been asked. That's not how reality works. By now, she was just running laps with her own lies, talking in circles, saying plenty without saying anything. And honestly, that's been her brand from day one. Say a lot, mean nothing, stall for time. But this moment, chef's kiss. Comedy at its finest. Watching Tiffany trip over her own setup was better than late-night TV, and here's the free advice. Tiffany, know your audience. Don't ask questions you don't already know the answers to. Because when you do, you end up exposed exactly like this. That's why the trustees were playing chess, while you were stuck playing Uno. They were 3 moves ahead. While you were still deciding which color to lay down. Lesson of the day: never play yourself. And Tiffany, you played yourself in high definition. Drop a 7 in the comments if you made it this far. Lucky number 7 for Mama. I want to know who the real ones are, because truth be told, Mom has been feeling a type of way lately. Self-esteem matters. Y'all keep me going. And I love you for it always.